Welcome, crypto friends. It's a crypto sniper. Yes, he's in the room, and there's been events. So, of course, you all heard by now about the SEC, our friend Gary Gensler, and I'm going to delve into some of the dramas. So that's what you're going to hear about, how that whole narrative surrounding the Securities and Exchange Commission, their actions, is actually, in my view, generally bullish for all of crypto, especially bullish for XRP. I will also highlight why I think it's going to be damaging to BNB and could also, of course, potentially be somewhat of a downer on the stock price of Coinbase. But first, we have to understand the great gamification that's been going on. So in this opening statement to you, it has always been my underlying position that the octopus has slowly been getting its tentacles and entrenching them deeper at further layers. I think overall they would never let you have your own money. Here with the other ear, they will never let you have your own money, issuance of your own money. So for the third time, they're not going to allow you to have the freedom, the power, and the liberty that issuance of your own medium of exchange is permitted. It is their ultimate power, okay? And on that basis, everything that has transpired with the SEC has been exactly as expected, slowly creeping, claiming remit, turf grabbing, as it's now their scene that they have to engage in as a regulatory authority. Hence why we've said, long run, it's not privacy money, it's not your central bank money. Sorry to those that still feel that. You hate me when I say it, but I'm afraid it's going to get totally controlled. It was born to be controlled. I don't buy into the Satoshi Nakamoto Santa Claus for adult story at all. This parallel running system that emerged is here for the takedown of the legacy system that is in its death knells. So why not let me start right now with one item that is from the legacy system for you all to potentially enjoy. And that is this aspect around the recent bank crises. So here we go. I'm going to just show you a tweet. By the way, you can follow us on the Market Sniper for the traditional markets and the Crypto Sniper on Twitter for my take on crypto. But the Market Sniper, one of the key passages that comes from a newsletter and friend that I recently interviewed, Peter Cavalti, is this whole narrative about the existing banking system. And I'm going to bring this straight back to crypto in a minute, so bear with me. In this situation, the banking system is heavily invested in treasuries. They are heavily invested in treasuries, but they're not recently heavily invested in treasuries. They are from previous crises, were heavily invested in treasuries. Excess reserves when they were getting mega bailouts, they were the bid, they were the buyer. The primary dealers, those are the people that have special license, the magic circle of banks, that can sell treasuries, government debt. Remember, spend, millions here for protecting Pride Parade. Yes, must spend millions. And of course, the new books for how you could be any agenda. Yeah, more money. Create. Quangos, people to run, people to do social media that make it so acceptable. Post, antagonize the conservative family types, outrage, create the hype, All of this takes money, it takes effort. All that debt is being created for this cultural Marxism, which has to go with the Bolshevik communism in the financial system that is behind it. So all these plates have to be spun to be synchronized, and so there's money going in there, there's debt that's being created by the government that is expending on these projects, must send money to Ukraine, etc. All this debt is building up. Banks are being bailed out, of course, all the time, so they're sitting and they're having these excess reserves, which they're told they can't lend, they've got to do this certain amount, they can only lend that amount, so they buy treasuries. So the long and short of, as we have had the treasuries going up, so we're talking about this tweet over here as we refer to the charts, as we are having this banking bailout, the most recent version. By the way, what went on those banks in terms of valuation to shore them up, and the size of the Silicon Valley Bank, etc., and the others that were cleaned up, was already larger than what happened in 2008. So this is not The second bailout, in fact, in recent history, it's about the third. Don't forget also 2019, panic, repo markets collapsing, banks not wanting to lend to each other, absolute logjam. What happened? Whoop, whoop, whoop. The events of March 2020 that actually started precipitating December, January, and then all that went, the things that may not be mentioned, etc. As a result, Swiss banks, Japanese Nomura received 3.69 trillion. Swiss banks, UBS, all of these received unbelievable sums. The JP Morgans, Bank of America, also, all from the Fed. Loans, huge trillions because of their derivative potential losses, because of the fact that everybody was no longer thinking the other bank was okay. They wouldn't overnight put their excess money to earn extra yield with another bank because they thought they could have shut their doors and that money never comes back. That all happened in 2019. That's now the second that happened from the 2008. Let's forget the savings and loans crisis or the 80s, etc., and many other events and long-term capital, etc., which wasn't a bank. Let's just keep it to the general collapses. Most don't realize there was a major banking transfer. In fact, the amounts were so much larger. But because they had the huge March 2020 events to distract you with, you never saw that they diluted your currency even further by the better part of 20 plus trillion to a magic circle of banks that are the primary dealers. Now, a lot of that money sits in treasuries. And what's happened is, you guessed it, they created inflation. They've always created inflation. First, there was asset price inflation under Greenspan, and there was nothing at the tills. More efficient farming, globalization, eventually to the lowest consumer point of production, or the lowest cost of production, till everything made in China, Their wages now going up, bifurcation, etc. Now the inflation comes. What ended up happening? Bond market yields have turned. They've gone from super low, and that's an inverse relationship, guys. Bonds up in value, yields down. We had 40 years of that. From Volcker, up top here, high yields and low bond valuations, right the way down to low yields and high bond valuations. That cross has now reversed. That has reversed, and it's an end of a 40-year bull. And you're not going to have a slow 40-year unwind like the buy the damn dip bond market was for 40 years. It's going to get disorderly and then boom, reset. That brings us back to the crypto and the parallel run system, the on-ramp Bitcoin initially as the primary seedling token, etc., and all the others that have followed in it. So these guys are sitting on massive losses. The problem is now accelerating out of control for the new horse, crypto, but not as you know it, central bank digital currencies, everything else. In short, there is a pressure, in our opinion, for a major bull market in cryptos. How do you stop a bull market from happening? You increase the inflation on everybody, make it really hard to exist, crank up the good old interest rates on their mortgage, on their homes and property. You reduce the amount of cows because 200,000 cows in Ireland, their farts are clearly destroying the planet. You right size, aka downsize the supply chain, ever keeping a very high cost, a higher cost for the production of food, while Bill Gates buys up all the farmland and a lot of other things are going on of nefarious activities. The Dutch government are closing farms, buying them out 120% or threatening them about all the new regulations and how much size and how much they will be allowed to produce because nitrogen bad and methane bad and all of that. Whilst in Kuwait, you have a permanent fire burning used tires. The biggest tire graveyard in the world with a pail of black smoke permanently going up. But that is not damaging. That is not carbon. You know that. So anyway, minor rant. I never do minor rants. That's an understatement. But anyway, so banks are bust, and this problem is far larger. It is far larger and it is far more imminent. So what happens? Here's the narrative that I'm going to give you. Couple of notes on a Word document. Let's bring it up so I don't miss my cues and lines. And this is from community members and other people that are sharing items with us. There is a feeling, and this I've always said and reiterated, that Gainsler is about being a handbrake on this SL55 or 62, I must get modern now, that is burning up that back rear axle and is the handbrake on the potential upside. We've already had a very long bear. Guys, you know me. I kept you out of the market. I kept you bear. Even with the rising wedge, we'll go to the charts in a minute. We will go to the chart. But all that has happened is we are now in reversal mode. And I will say more technically, because this is actually a fundamental chat so far. We're going to be touching on it technically as well. So a couple of the things, Ref, the SEC shenanigans. In our opinion, it's always been to restrict growth and to seize power and to put a cap on it. So it's a great FUD mechanism. And of course, you saw the sell-off. When we refer technically, you'll see that Bitcoin came back very, very fast after that. In short, technically, markets are over their bear market when they don't go down on bad news, or they go down and they take that entire space back up. In other words, they shrug it off. So crypto participants in the US, when you are ending up with the end goal, reset sniper speak now, of Bolshevik communism, you don't want all your people that you're squeezing at the till on food, squeezing on the mortgage payments on home, reducing supply chain so that they have to pay more as the demand is already dropping. We should be, demand is dropping horrendously. We had a huge miss on a Chinese number. They were expecting 8% exports. They came in at minus 7.5. Who's buying all the stuff coming out of China? The West, America. Guess what? We are not buying. People are not spending. There's already a proper, we don't even do normal recessions. We are in a recession and it's not a normal one. The yield curve has been inverted for an unbelievable time, ever lower than it's ever been. Separate videos that I've done on that. I'm not going to deep dive on that. The crash comes when the yield reverts back to zero and beyond. That's when you get the name and the tag. It is coming, and it's going to be massive. So with that understood, they don't want all the rats to escape by making 100x or 30x or 20x on the tokens that they have, not unless they first get a mega tax take out of you. And a lot of this has got to do with America. So America, biggest market, biggest mass middle classes. If you want to destroy the middle classes of the world, you are going after the Commonwealth and North America. Simple as that, and Europe as well. So the shenanigans here, they've got all these IRS agents, don't forget, 87,000 IRS agents, all getting trained up the last 9 months, a year, whenever they hired them all on. They are arming and training. And our friend Gigi is wanting to ensure that he gets data on everybody who has owned out of these exchanges, particularly the ones like Binance, where he could, he's been seen as Chinese, even though he's an Asian person with Canadian citizenship. So they want to ensure that they get full power over everybody who's arranged it. One of the best ways is to overstate. This is like a negotiation. They are throwing their weight around long beyond their competence, their capability, or any clear guidance that they have given. They have been obstructive. Ever since the SEC has been anyway making comments about involvement in the crypto market, they have yet to define what's a security, what's a commodity, what's a currency. They haven't done it. In fact, there's a rule already, and it's called the Howie test. Let's take everybody into that. We'll come back to this document in a second. Takeaways, the Howie test, long-standing. What is a security? The Howie test determines what qualifies as an investment security. Fat Cokie, so that you don't miss where we're talking, where we're walking. Here we are. So the Howie test determines what qualifies as an investment contract and would therefore be subject to US securities laws. Is it something that somebody is investing in? An investment contract exists if there is investment of money in a common enterprise. So it is one thing many are putting resources into with a reasonable, no guarantees in an uncertain world. When we're talking about the future and probabilities, it can go bankrupt, it can be a screaming success, it can be okay, with a reasonable expectation of something that represents profit. In other words, more money made back on account of that investment. derive from the effort of others. So you're just giving money, you're going to sit and wait, and somebody's going to do profitable things, sell things, make a markup, make a margin, declare a dividend, pay you, etc., etc. That is an investment. So the Howie test is important for situating blockchain and digital currency projects with investors and project bankers. We're going to touch on that when we go have a look at a little tweet in a moment. Certain cryptocurrencies and initial coin offerings may be found to meet the investment contract under the Howie test. Well, they haven't been able in any way to clarify that. So let's listen to our pal Richard Hart and how he designed Hex and Pulse Chain as something interesting, because we know tactically he understood this intrinsically as a potential attack vector and chose to design his token not on an ICO basis, but in a manner that he assessed would best protect him from failing the Howie test. So let's see how Richard Hart and those guys have done. In fact, this is one of his lady helpers, and we're following her tweets. It's HVID Hex. So somebody in the States helped market Hex, and they got an SEC letter. So Hex got the attraction of the Securities and Exchange Commission, and it was noted, and it was a kind of a concern and a little bit of a FUD element as well. So you mint your own rewards is how Hex has got around it. So in other words, you make a sacrifice, it's given, it's gone, it's deemed, there's no gain, you could have lost it all. Finito. From the beginning, it's understood. Now, people can argue about the nuances and say, well, deep down, nobody throws money away. You must have expected you had a decent chance of getting your money back, getting it with a bit more. Who knows? It might be worth a challenge, but specifically, that would have to be tested in court. And at least at the initial instance, it's not an overt investment. You hold on your own keys and no middlemen, so there's no intermediation. You mint your own coins. There isn't a company that's acting on your behalf and doing work for you, and therefore you are benefiting out of their toil as a capital provider, the traditional entrepreneur model. You provide money, you pop in, you may be chairman of the board, and everybody else is working and getting salaries and making money for the shareholders of which you are one. You have zero expectation from others, only on yourself, the person involved, Richard Hart in this case, does not work for you. Okay, so that is how Hex and the whole Pulse Chain ecosystem went about approaching that, and that was reasonably well clarified in there. So that's that little element. Now, I come back to the fact that these guys have not been seeking to be clear, because the problem they have is, and this is how markets work, everybody, markets hate uncertainty. It doesn't matter if it's a crypto market, a commodity market, an equity market. You're talking to someone who's been engaged in investing since he was 19 and actively engaged in markets from when he was mid-20s. You're talking 30 years plus. And let me tell you, markets hate uncertainty. Bad news is better. That gets washed out. You take the hit, and then you go again and you return back up. Then a sustained period of we don't know what, because the business can't operate, it is hamstrung, it is tied up. It's like being parked in limbo land forever. It's kind of like me putting you in jail. You're not dead, but you're not really living anymore. You're living in a box. I've taken 40 years of your life away from you and stuck you in jail. So it's, hey, no one can claim I killed you. I haven't taken your actual life, but it has taken your productivity, your focus of your management team, everything away. In some senses, this is exactly what's kind of happened to XRP, although they have focused on continuing as if they will win this thing, and that's the right way. Everyday business, and everything must continue on that basis. And I will highlight how, again, on the charts, when we turn technical, how they had an underperforming bull period compared to Bitcoin that made a new high to its 20K high. The highest point is $3.31 for XRP, and that was on the 1718, the cusp of 1718 market high. The secondary bull market passed them more largely by. They went up, but not as much. And that is a gift, and I'll explain why in a bit. But let's see how clear this guy is.
Ether, a commodity, or a security.
Without speaking to any
Can't answer the question. He's not ready or committed to answer the question. The problem with answering a question is it leads to clarity. Who wants clarity when your game is smoke and flipping mirrors? You don't want clarity. That's like putting on the fan and breaking all the glass, and there you are, buck naked, standing, twiddling with your finger up your ollie. That's pretty much our boy over here. Our boy over here is wanting to be obfuscative. It is not about delivering clarity. They have been prompted now, because of events, to hurry it up. And I will refer back to the Word document where we discuss that a little more. A little bit on FTX, Biden, and Gainsler, our pal. So October 2020, SPF, give the man a shout out, DZ there, .f, that's his tweet, thank you, we give him a follow as well. Donates $5 million to the Biden-Harris campaign, making him the second largest donor. It's probably old Georgie boy who was the biggest donor. Guessing, don't really know. February 3, 2021, Biden appoints Gary Gainsler as chair of the SEC. Duties include protecting investors from fraud abuse. We know what the SEC, in the name of protecting you. Yes, protecting the consumer. No, protecting who gets to the consumer. That's the game. Because as we'll look in enforcement, you will see that in actual fact, there's a bunch of enforcement on Coinbase, on two people that were doing various activities that were nefarious. But we hear very little about Nancy Pelosi, very little about the Fed members themselves that were breaching their own rules with regards to decisions they were making right up to Jay Powell. Never mind the Nancy Pelosi indicator, her husband, etc., etc. This unbelievable indicator of investment prowess with these calls and puts buying. Anyway, so actually the focus is on crypto because that's what they need to keep a lid on, guys. Yeah, that's what they need to keep a lid on in terms of upside right now. May 10th, 2023, Gainsler and SBF meet in person to discuss crypto regulation. Of course, SBF very much part of the special chosen ones. Marks the first time that the SEC chair has met with any major cryptocurrency exchange CEO, and at no point did he ever initiate any form of harassment against FTX, which happened apparently, according to some, proven or not proven, to be involved in a nice money laundering racket that involved potential presidents and their children and Ukraine and money and arms. Who knows what's true, just leaving it there for you to research. November the 11th, 22, so now we're going back again in between when they met. FTX files for bankruptcy, leaving customers. I think this date is wrong, by the way. I think it's not 23. We've only just recently parted them. It might have been again, but he met him before. So there's a little bit not quite accurate there. November 22, FTX files for bankruptcy, leaving customers without access to money. I personally was affected. Many of you were. We're very sad about that fact that people got hurt by this and we were damaged. June 2023, the SEC attacked sound businesses who have been attempting to work with regulators such as Coinbase. So Coinbase's argument is quite interesting. What Coinbase has said over here also is when you look at this, they're getting sued for acting as an unregistered broker, even though they came and say, tell us, give us the guidance on how we become registered and get a license from you. We want to play by your game. We understand you want to be a big boss man over this area. Awesome. Tell us how so we can comply. We wish to comply. No guidance provided, lawsuit. Okay? This is actively leading to essentially harassment, industry harassment, obfuscation. So there is no way anybody who really wanted to suck up to teacher could even give her what she wanted because they refused to clarify what that is, because he can't even answer a question that is what is a security, or which crypto is Ethereum, as an example, a security. Not talking to one, but yada yada, long form bullshit, ramble, no specific criteria is even delivered. So that is what you've been dealing with. You've been dealing with obstruction, guys. You've been dealing with intent. People will put it down to stupidity, incompetence, new guy, all of this. No, no, and no. This is a rev limiter that's been put on a superbike for a reason. so that nobody gets to go over 30 kilometers per hour, even though it does 300. That is the game. That is the game, friends. Oh, by the way, just to add extra insult to industry, did you know, shock of all shocks, good old Gary Gensler did tout in expectation, I am sure to imagine, so it's not going to give me that tweet, you're going to have to view it over here. Gary Gensler did tout his services as an advisor to Binance, the biggest player, before becoming SEC, obviously to help them and get a nice extraction on how not to fall on the wrong side of these attack vectors. Very much like FTX, only FTX didn't have to pay and didn't seem to have anyone as an advisor. They were just open-doored access. Isn't that interesting? What's different about CZ and SBF? I wonder. Think about that one. What's common? Anyway, I'm speculating. You can tell me your answer below if you have any ideas. Maybe you don't. Maybe I'm looking for things that ain't there. Okay, so essentially this meme says, Gensler offers to let Binance put his name on their website for an advisory deal. Is this the regularity or regulation clarity he was meaning? Ah, interesting. Interesting thought. We all know where the head of the feds go. They, of course, go to hedge funds. Hedge funds, because they've got connections, they've got licenses, they get paid millions for playing their role and being the front man. Good old Bernanke, you can collect. Shlomo Bernanke collecting awards and money thrown at him. He was turning yellow when he was doing the Fed. That liver and kidneys was seriously not enjoying cleaning up the mess that his mate Greenspan left for him. But nevertheless, a bit of filthy lucre and shekel sure papered over that. Okay, so that's a little bit of the whole fundamental. Have we gone through all of them? I think we have. So let's show you technically why I say both fundamentally and technically this is a great day for XRP, a less good day for BNB, and we're going to go and look at the charts for this. Because, remember, XRP was selected specifically for SEC attention a lot sooner, and many people applauded ignorantly in crypto. It's a bit like applauding that your unpopular neighbor down the road has just been arrested and being bullied by police and being dragged off. Oh, well done, yes, take him away, the dirty old man, and thinking that one day the door would not knock on your side. So in the SEC, they referred to Solana, they referred to BNB, they referred to Matic, they referred to the macro tokens in the top tier, excluding the magic circle of Bitcoin and Ethereum and stable coins for now. That's a separate attack vector. That's a discussion for another day. So we go to the charts, my lovely friends. We go to the charts and we take the light off first. And I'm going to talk to you about XRP in these charts. And I have been talking a bit about how you will stand to get a 33x in due course, potentially from this particular token during the course of the next bull market. I have reiterated countlessly. In fact, let's just do this, go right to the beginning. Countlessly that we have turned, in my opinion, with regards to the crypto bear cycle. That this entire structure over here is in fact an inverted head and shoulder that is coming down ever so slowly. Look at these hammers, my friends. We're already on a weekly. This is not a small time frame. You can see from here, this was the head and shoulders target, by the way, of, let's just go remind a few here of that neckline. So we have the 42.5 neckline, we have the legacy 47.5, that was from the 64K high, that's to the left. I've covered that so many times, I'm not going to talk about it any further. The 35K neckline, which was perfectly made and also gave you the bottom. So where was the 35K neckline? Well, it runs just below this flag over there. Where's the shoulder? The flag is the left shoulder. I need to do it in a different color for you. So super fat Koki, boom, big head, boom, and then right the way down, and here is your left shoulder. Give him some more space, bring him through. There you go. So let's draw that one more time. The whole 64 is a very powerful left shoulder. The 69 is a marginally higher high, and that is a right. You might say that's a weird head and shoulder. It is what we refer to as complex. The 35 is the common horizontal key level of significance, and the target that was made got you out on the bottom of a low wick. The rising wedge we warned you not to go in, and we were still bearish during, was getting near the end of the game here. That was right over there. Where did it go to? The 25K neckline. In short, as we've said before, this is a story of two head and shoulders, bookmarking the end of a bull market and the end of a bear market. Right here, friends. There's your one. This is left shoulder, and there is your head right there. Again, kissing, and a nice high momentum break, which is typical of good neckline breaks, and sometimes a little bit of a return move. And this is what's happening. We are getting a drifting channel that is coming back, and these wicks tell you a million stories. They tell and point, good people, to a bid coming in. Smart money bids coming in. Smart money bid coming in. Smart money bid coming in. The 25K, I don't know if you'll see it again. We might come down and just kiss it. There might be a second or a third level to this SEC attack vector that will drip it a little more, and you could get lower. Where is the head and shoulder wrong? The run of the 19.8, that is the right shoulder. This little one here with the two X's over there. At that point, we say, we were wrong. We were wrong. You've got to have a level where you were wrong. It is not a reversal. Or we're going to churn and gestate, but this isn't part and parcel of the reversal. But right now, those blue wicks along the bottom are pointing to buying up. When bad news occurs and markets fail to stay down after that news, there is an inherent buoyancy to that market. Can you hear me? Let me say it again. When you are getting buy-side wicks on bad news, the smart money is positioning early for something positive, and they see the sell-off opportunities as cheap buying. And many people shouted all the way along, cheap buying, you fell too far too fast, you got out of your one head and shoulder. Look at these exits on the head and shoulders by HVF method style, on the lowest wicks. I mean, you don't have to sit through all this churn to get a couple more bucks a whole bunch later. That is just amazing, guys. I'm sorry, the technical carve up on this chart is second to none in terms of the read on that, and these levels will be significant again. We remain bulls, as we have said all the time, for a significant period to the 40,649, where you will run into some heavy traffic potentially on Bitcoin during that phase. There's quite a lot of necklines and a 40K number that gets run. So it will get a little bit choppy there. But until then, the only other levels I'd be watching is 34, 35, and 32. In other words, there's pretty much clear headway once the FUD is shrugged off, which the market is already showing us generally, it's not prepared to retrace this candle. Don't forget, the banking system. Those treasuries that are going to zero, essentially, of course they'll be converted into something when we have the earthquake reset, that will be tapered into nothingness. You'll end up with shares in a bankrupt bank, much like Bank of Cyprus or something else, where they gave everyone haircuts. They didn't actually steal your money. They just gave you something really, really worthless that tapers very close to zero, so that you've effectively lost in a single capital transaction event that you did not even instigate most of your money. That's what I'm talking about when I say go to zero, okay? I'm not being a drama queen. They're not going to admit it to you straight up. We've killed you and you're going to zero. They're going to say there's been a forced equity bailout situation and you're compensated, and let me assure everybody, and the poison is slowly drip fed over time until you realize you're being properly reamed. Of course, if you're me, you know it's coming before it even happens. If you're average, you're going to realize you're reamed when it happens. And if you're an old granny who's never thought much about financials, you'll still be sitting and hoping as you slowly get shafted and realize you don't have a real pension at all in any way. So here we go. this is bullish inherently. Bitcoin is the God market. This is a pullback in so far. This is a steep channel, and you have gone out of that channel. It's quite typical for that to happen. I think a bounce still remains possible in 25. Remember, you're not going to stop exactly on 25. You could trade 24.8, 24.7, 24.6. Who knows? And then snap back out. But inherently, the price action is not showing us fear. It is not showing us fear. And remember, this is in a high inflation environment. The aspects regarding supply with regards to, and I don't think these dominate quite as much as they used to, but they are coming. They're significant in terms of the halvening. Those events are coming again. It is a better time to be in crypto. And I am the one talking bull. And remember, you've listened to Moon Boys all the time throughout the bear market. So hear me now. You don't feel bull because you're not feeling that big, like you've made great money. Most retail of previous generations have been wrecked by the bears. In short, when you least have the money, you're least working hard to get it, and it's when you most need it to put it into crypto. But you'll leverage trade when everyone's talking about it and it's fundamentals. At the moment, you're watching NVIDIA now and AI boom. Well, that very closely correlates, by the way, with CBDCs, cryptos, and the statist investments you should be making in the new financial system that will be rammed down your throat, like it or not, it is goddamn coming. And we've spoken of the status tokens before. So Bitcoin, that's where you are. Now we highlighted that Ethereum is going to outperform Bitcoin. So we're dropping down. Ethereum going sideways, not down, and is working its way up. Some would draw a rising wedge. So there is still scope for another sell-off. It's possible, but you can also pop out the top out of these things. You could also say it's an ascending triangle with a horizontal level, and the next move will be a breakout, a return move of some form, and further up. That is what we feel. And look at the low volatility in here, guys. This is not fair. You've just had an exchange being announced that it's sued, and all the major tokens outside of Ethereum and Bitcoin in the top 10, excluding stable coins, literally face some degree of stigmatization by the world's largest country's regulator body. That's what's happened, and that's the reaction. This is bullish. It is bullish, my friends. It is bullish. It is bullish. You will see it or you will not. It doesn't feel bullish yet because you're fooled. This structure is a long run overall, in our view, move that will see the better part of nearly 24,000. So we'll turn on the light so you can see the analysis and the charting that goes on there. And you will see that we have been expecting this dominance of Ethereum to go on up to the 13,000s odd level. You're in this falling wedge that you've crept out of, and this is Ethereum beating Bitcoin. Ethereum beating Bitcoin. So Ethereum is certainly status, which brings us to XRP. Now, I will tell you, friends, that that is not a bearish candle after a strong move. That is a downward test and a rally back up. You are at a number of localized highs, and it's absolutely understandable. Plus, you've had this huge FUD. So, in actual fact, the downsell on Ripple and I keep saying Ripple, XRP, and the rally back up is shrugging off some really pretty significant FUD. The industry is all FUDded out. That is when you know. That is when you know bottoms are truly in. And many called that after Three Arrows Capital. Many called that directly after all the various crises. And I'm saying to you, it only really happened after the big burnout of FTX. So this is, again, this chart I will keep putting in front of you. I will own the technical space for calling the next super move in Ripple. There is no one else talking like this, and I've given it to you. There's another in our community, if you want to find out, that will do more. A significant amount more, but this is one of the best. And that one is liquid and available too. You're welcome to guess below. Give us your guess in the comment section. Which token is he talking about? Our community members know it. But this is one of my holdings. And I will say it's in the top 3 of them for the reasons I have outlined. And we will see $16 to $17, upper 16s into 17s at minimum. And I want to highlight, sometimes I get these people, oh, he was inaccurate, he was wrong, he got out here. There's lots of people who comment. This is HVF method. The first target is the point we don't take anything off until the first target. If it is a first setup in a new trend, we have full theory on how we handle this. We do partial closes at that level. It's not us saying that's the high, it goes down from here. It's a level by which you might gestate for a while and churn before making further progress. Did that happen? Yes, you went up a bit. That's the overperformance element. You're going to leave something on the table always. That's the down bit. In time, guys, this is quite a lot of time of going sideways. This is the value of HVF method. You went 3/4 of a year bouncing around, grinding sideways, not much above the original target, and that gave us a fresh structure to get in again. So you could have closed, you could have hodled the whole position. That's up to you. But the signal was you're going to have less momentum in your favor. You're going to gestate for a while. You've got a new structure. You should have entered in again here, and you would have been taking off fresh targets here. And we have what we call overperformance management. This is in our theory. We teach it. I'm not giving you that here. You can go book a call and find out. In other words, this entire move, a certain portion of your sizing could well have been captured, and you'll find out how we do that. Good luck. If you don't want to learn, you don't. You take what I'm giving for free. You're still going to be better off. That's fine. That's your prerogative. We didn't say that's the top. A purple line and a target is not a top call. I am not saying the top will be 16.7. I'm saying it's an expedient place between the 16.7 and the 17's level to take off a sizable portion. It may churn. You could get back in lower. In this instance, this was such a strong bull. It didn't go much lower. There was some lower. There was some volatility, and there was quite a bit of burnt time without any fresh outcome. That's good enough. When you're in the first setup ever, this was listing, and it was thin trade and was new, the biggest and most dominance is in the very first structure on that time frame. This is now an older token that has been around more. It will not necessarily behave in that way this time. It might run that target and pull well back and churn and bottom for a while longer before maybe going higher still in time, and new structures will invite us in again. So to all those that go, yeah, but he was inaccurate. No one was calling bull move. No one like we were on this. And we didn't say that's the top. We say that's the beginning where you take off, and in a first setup, we have different rules that apply that you don't even know. So I get a bit frustrated because it's always these rookies with the biggest mouths that go on Twitter and said, yeah, but he was wrong about the target. You know, it went to 330 and he was saying getting out at 16 cents. No, not at all. Progress, decay, and then continuation. That's the game. New target, new takeouts. If you never take off and you don't have a process, you do what all the hodlers have done. You watch 69K Bitcoin run into your account and you get out at 16,000. That is how it works. You watch 20K run into your bank account and you get out at 3 grand when you can't bear it anymore. You feel like the biggest loser in town. That's hodlers. Taking off is smart with real geometry and having real strategy and identifying the difference between first structures, second structures, big time frame structures, progress decay, interim levels, etc. You want to learn about that? You click the first link below in the comments and you can see how we manage ensuring that we take those big gains. We don't watch them wash away. Let me warn everyone right here, right now. You're getting one more flipping bull run chance to nail this, then we're in total communism. If you cock this up, it's on you. I am the guy that's going to tell you how you're going to get this right. Don't cock this up. Don't be penny wise now and a fool later. Jumping in with emotion, with massive leverage, after drinks, when it's done a major spike, late at night, showing your friends how much loot you've got, bragging to your wife. You will be wrecked after the next move and you will not take it. We are investors first. We are moderate, very moderate, light leverage traders. Rarely, only when justified, you will get wrecked. And afterwards, my friend, the chips are falling where they lie. You're going to be in a whole different world when it comes. Get this one right or suffer poverty in a peasant Bolshevik world. That is a fact. And I'm telling you, this is probably your last chance. Don't cock it up. Okay, you're getting the proper lecture from the sniper today, because I'm here to try prevent you from doing the things you're automatically going to do that's self-destructive to yourself. And I've watched countless do it. Countless do it. Okay, don't be penny wise and pound foolish. Joining our community today could see you sign out millionaires on 30x's, 60x's, and holding most of it. I'm talking like a large percent of it, and changing the course of your life, that it's the best investment you do. Okay, we're giving you this for free. We're telling you a 33x because we aim to serve even people who can't or think they can't afford it. And that's who we are, because there's a different world waiting for you. 33x, 16, if you haven't taken any off, you're liable to stay in. And it's the hardest thing to do. If you haven't put the take profit in the system when you enter, you haven't made a contract with yourself, you're going to go, why don't I push it a little more? Hey, 10 million's nicer than 7. Hey, 13 million's nicer than 5. This can go a bit further. Listen to how bullish the media is. Listen to how bullish the moon boys are right now. You should never sell your Ripple. You're going to be a centimillionaire. What do you mean? The biggest numbers. You will end up with less than you started if you fall into that trap. The hardest thing to do, my friends, and I'm warning you, I know it, I've ridden it countless times, personally, around the back of others that didn't listen. We have community members that sold the top of Sol at $260, and we've watched it go virtually single digits. I'm telling you, they took very strong and massive amounts, life-changing money amounts, houses, homes. There's anecdotes, not involving myself, of others around that are living the life because they took off and they had a methodology, they committed to process. Okay, big lecture, lots to do. Let's get to the XRP dominance. XRP dominance. Right, here we come. If you didn't think that macro chart wasn't attractive on the USD, I am here to tell you that the dominance is swinging for Ripple in an extensive way. Am I a fanboy? Do I want the bankers to win? Don't get involved in emotions and morals and dogma around me. I'm here to help you build wealth in reset times. I don't get to choose what's happening. I analyze and I say what's likely to serve you best if building wealth is your goal. Okay? I don't want central bank gains. I don't want CBDCs. I live in this world and I cut my cloth according to what it's giving me. This right now is what we're getting. Super strong on the upside dominance, grinding, drifting over a long period on the downside. Super strong upside move spikes, grinding long drop on the side. Strong again, yet shorter, drifting, spinning tops down. You are moving and you're reaching a point where you're about to take a third high. The dominance percentage, I have a number of targets for you on the dominance percentage. And those targets are 620 and 811 on a W bottom. In short, ever since XRP has been even 1.99 and below 2%, we have been waiting for this moment in our premium community, talking about it and keeping it quiet. And now you're getting a freebie from us. And that's because this could buy your way in not only to us, but to a beautiful house paid cash with no debt, the right vehicles and toys, and lots of things. But I'm not doing that to sell you sizzle. The guys don't even realize it's a bull market right now. All your moon boys have gone quiet. Where's all the faces like this? Whatever happened to all the clowns, the clickbait clowns? Whatever happened? You know why? Because it worked. Because emotional little idiots are chasing the news they want to hear, not what they need to hear. I'm the doctor you need with the sickness you have that you don't even realize you have in you. Okay, so right here, this is a breakout to the upside. We're seeing 811. This is a first structure in a new trend. So to the guy who's going to say, he was wrong. It went to 10. It went to 12. This can overperform. And we have a methodology for dealing with that. So to that guy, that's the point where we start considering some reductions to ensure we're not left holding a round tripper like ARK, like many of these other tokens. So that's your XRP dominance. This is essentially XRP versus Bitcoin and Ethereum. They are the primary market cap. Of course, it includes the others. But that means that actually XRP is going to be outperforming Bitcoin and Ethereum and the rest of them. Do you remember when we told you about Binance dominance? And that was all before FTX went bust. For 2-3 months, we told you Binance dominance, Binance dominance. And that was in a bear market. You could long Binance and short BTC, ETH, all of them. We had setups and structures. Now it's complete role reversal. And guess what? XRP that was being hit by the attention of the SEC is now joined by friends. And now with this escalation, clarity is going to have to come because there are more pissed off people. There's an exchange in the form of Coinbase. There's an exchange in the form of Binance. There's a token in the form of BNB. There is Matic. There is XRP that's been there all this time in the naughty box that was singled out. Now it's got buddies. Now it's got friends. It's already baked into XRP's price. And it's had a long period of uncertainty that has created extra downward pressure on XRP. You ask me why 33? Because of the geometry, because of HVF method. You want a fundamental reason? They missed the bull. That secondary high, they only got part of the bull on XRP because they had all the issues. You can see this just traded through the 1 to 190s. The previous bull was 331. That was part and parcel of it. They were driving with a handbrake on. They never fully got it. They're going to be back, and that pressure has accumulated. You're going to get essentially 1.5 bull markets in this next bull because it never got to do. If you were at $3.30 and it went only 3x like Bitcoin, 3.25x, which it wouldn't have, it's a smaller cap, it can move further, it could have, should have maybe done 10, 12, 13 bucks in the second bull market. But guess what? The failure to make a new high is technically incredibly powerful in our methodology. And that is what you've got here. You've got the squeezing structure that is saying, plus you've got all these handbrakes that could come off, and you've been joined by mates in the naughty box on the naughty step. You're no longer the single token that's going to get purely kicked in the balls. Plus it's going to create more pressure for Gainsler and the SNC to clarify. Back to the Word document for a bit. This is in between technical and fundamental. We're talking to you plenty. So those new IRS agents, well, they're going to make sure they've got their take and their handle on you. Coinbase, Binance, USA. This is all about USA. Of course, it's the SEC. It's American. They are trying to get Congress is submitting a bill that would have offered more clarity and a change to correctly determine what's a security, what's a commodity, what's a currency. He had to move fast or lose the opportunity. And there is an information grab. They want to know. A lot of this is a smokescreen for actually ensuring that they have everybody's names and addresses. Now, I know there's been leaks, and I know Coinbase had already been partially complying with that. You'd heard about it. They want everybody in America's names. That is a holder. The extraction committee is working. The 87,000 IRS agents that have been recently hired, that have been trained for a year now and cutting their teeth, they are waiting for our American brothers and friends. To my American brothers and friends, hit the like button. We're trying to save you. You too can have a structure. You too can own assets that are outside the country. Everyone listening to this right now, Europeans, other parts of the world, you need to get out of where you are. The extraction is going to be far more organized than previous times. It's going to make it look like a cakewalk. Everyone just showed up and told how much they made. It's going to be so big because it's the end of the system. This is going to be possibly a much bigger bull market in percentage terms than even the initial moves. Why? Because you've got a quadrillion in debts that is all overnight, simultaneously, potentially going to get caught out. You've got banks stuffed with treasuries. You're going to have a potential rate spike that will see America not afford to pay the interest on its own debt. You're going to have people being shoved out of their houses, and good old BlackRock with a nice fat pipe of cheap funds ready to gobble them all up. All of that of reset, we have warned and is coming. You've got an entire dying donkey system that the parasites have been killing, and they are now jumping into the new system. And who is the symbol for that? Gary Gainsler is that symbol. They want that tick juggernaut funnel right here on the jugular of the new system, so that by the time you land on the new horse from the old, they're sucking away that blood. That is the game, my friends. This is how it is, and the status tokens are XRP. amongst others. But this is the one that is technically set up, and there's only one or two others that get me more excited in terms of its prospects. So you have it, you know it. Let's have a look against XRP, against a few other tokens. What about XRP? Let's just stay up top here. XRP. What about XRP versus Bitcoin? Well, you will see very quickly that this emulates the XRP dominance chart. Very, very bullish. All big time frame charts, by the way, are log scale, guys. So inherently, this is a very, very flat chart. It's very flat. If I delog it, you'll see it. It's a flat chart. You can see it's not been a good token to have been in during this period. However, the current, it's had a few mega spikes, usually pretty early on in its life, and now it's been absolutely hammered since then. It's not made significant progress. Log scale, look at the current. This is the beginning of the statism era. They first had to make it about liberty. They first had to make it about not the central banks and freedom, to get the most difficult people into the system that wanted out of the failing donkey, that are the first to leave the dead horse, don't want to be the last one to switch out the light. And they had to sell it on freedom, your own central bank, and the malarkey. Now this is statism era. Monero, which is a privacy coin that actually has potentially some privacy, although we don't know what happened with Fluffy Pony, is slipping down the charts. There is nothing in anything speaking that is determining about them giving you any form of privacy. It is utter intrusion. It is surveillance finance. It's part of their agenda. They want to know everything you do. Crypto is the step in surveillance finance. CBDCs will be the final stage. You are participating in the interim stage of a total surveillance finance system. If you do not accept that, you do not realize what is coming. And you do not understand why you absolutely have to max out this next bull market and have structures so that you are not extracted ruthlessly by an over-aggressive government, such as the one behind the SEC that is working with the IRS and waiting for all those twiddling their thumbs, 87,000 IRS agents, to go pursue all those that have engaged in crypto. So XRP, let's just take you to, and we highlighted how Binance was a great token just prior to FTX. If only I'd known it was going to be, because I'm so pissed. Why didn't I guess it? That was the reason. But if we go and have a look at BNB, you will see now that I have Binance token is in a different situation entirely. So if we go to Binance and you have a look at the chart for Binance, look at this. I'm going to take my eye off here. You can just check this out, Funk Soul brother. Check it with me. Look at this. Here we go. This is called a basing grind line. Are we bullish every single token? You could get a flippening. It's going to take a lot, but you could get a flippening where you end up with escalating action. Particularly, they seem particularly aggressive towards Binance, where the Binance token itself could drop in value, that maybe with the moves that XRP could make, with the greater clarity that will eventually come, being joined by a lot more legal forces, a lot more harassment on the SEC, that will eventually lead to some outcome, some clarity, the end of the obfuscation era, which is why they chose only one company, because then it meant they only had to fight one set of lawyers. Now they've escalated the fight. It ends quicker. It gets more violent, but it ends quicker because there's body count, there's money, there's a lot of cost, there's a lot of angry people. That right there is not a positive piece of price behavior, my friends. That is not a positive piece of price behavior in any way. And you could see the overall market cap of Binance shorten. It's got a long way to fall. It's at 47, 48, and XRP is at 27. So it's a long way. There's 20 billion in differential. But a price move of 25%, 30% down on Binance, and maybe 10 or 15% up on Ethereum, and it starts to get a lot closer. You could see a flippening on that. It's possible. And in due course, in time, as the statist role that they will play on the rails starts to kick in, I'm absolutely expecting it to go right up to number 3 of the non-stable coin tokens. At minimum, and potentially make even further advances. And actually, I would think it might be as much at Bitcoin's expense than at Ethereum. That sounds like sacrilege to maxis. This is just inherently what we are seeing. But this is a token not to be in right now. This is a token not to be in right now. Is it a violent break? It's actually not the worst, but it could get worse. Remember these grind lines? Yep, you can learn all about that when you book a call. Break, return, move, break, hammer, and break. These are falling ladders of grind lines, my friend. This is not bottoming. Binance is in trouble. Binance is in trouble as a token, but it's not yet chronic. It's not yet absolutely chronic. Okay, what else can we show you? That's comparables XRP. So let's just take any other token that's still in the fairly close high levels. So if we take XRP versus, say, TRX. Let's just do it. USD. I'm not impressed by Solana. It's an easy fail for Solana. Let's use something we don't often do. XRP divide TRX USD. Is there even a bitstamp for that? No, okay. So in relative sense, whilst XRP has lost ground to this token, let's get those early listing malarkey out the way. You can see it's generally lost ground to this token. Right now, what is this? It's a relative strength moment for XRP. How's XRP look against BNB? Let's have a look. This is cross-market analysis. I spend time doing this. We regularly discuss this. I do videos inside our community. Which is the token that's going to perform more right now? That is very important work, and it gives a great understanding. Look how XRP is performing against Binance token. This is the dominance of Binance token. It got slammed, slammed, slammed. Now in log scale, this is a bottom, my friends. So you've got an upside HVF against TRX. You've got a bottom against Binance token, and quite an impulsive move. What other tokens can we look at that's in the top short-term top 10? You want Solana? I'll give it to you. Trend change. Solana was the big bull story, and XRP lost value. Major trend change, and that started there. So Solana started losing value. You remember we were very, very short. We thought it would get a single digits. I think you got low teens in the end. I don't think you got the single, but you certainly came a long, long way off. That was Solana at $260, by the way. What's it today? 18. And I think, as I say, you got low double digits, but you never quite. This is bullish, and that is a nice little wind up, and this is upside movement. So wherever you are looking right now, the short term is bright, and the long term is bright. And the medium term is probably bright, but you might get some churn after the short term. Does it make sense? 3 lights, green lights, short term. Right now, good. Medium term, probably very, very good, because it's going to be enacting the long term, but everything rests after making a short-term target. We have upside setups across a number of time frames on XRP. It is dominating other tokens in its category. What other tokens can I do a final comparable for you on? We have Matic, we have ADA, a lot of ADA fans. So many people will say, I prefer to invest with people I trust. Charles is likable. Charles is a good guy. People who follow ADA watch Charles Hodgkins and they like him. He's a nice guy. He has lots of money. He was in Ethereum early. He does everything right. He's a technician. He does, everything right. This is culture of personality. You love the man. You're like the baby hugging daddy's leg at the bottom there. You're just not letting him go because you love him. Because why? Because he's awesome. He's my daddy. Yes, that's you right now. You are marrying a man. And let me tell you, when that man who wants his project to succeed needs to make deals with government, he will be doing exactly what XRP said from the beginning they are going to do. Comply, transparency, tax extraction. Otherwise, they cancel his token. Or they find pictures of him in compromising situations, even if they have to make him up because he's such a nice guy. That's the world, how it works, guys. You are marrying a human being, which is the wrong strategy. You have to look technically what's going to move, what makes sense, and who are the masters. The masters is statism. In an environment where we have such poverty and so many social ills, the military-industrial complex are making all-time highs. Who does that? Who spends that money? Statism. They know their priorities. Their priorities is weaponizing themselves against their own citizen. You are dealing against a priestly ruling class that makes deals transnational, all in the name of herding their shepherding flock. And I warn you, do not marry individuals, because if it comes to a choice between the retail guy that they need to have engaged in their token and compliance to governments, nation states, the EU, America, China, to get their token taken up, they will vote for the success of their project. And if they're honest, they will be telling you that. It is compliance. And that is to knock a nice man. So let's have a look at XRP versus ADA. I haven't even done this one. I don't even know what I'm going to find. Let's have a look. I think Kraken would have had it for a while, even though their data is sketchy. Well, how does it look to you guys? There was a major final capitulation. It was bearish for ages. ADA was awesome for ages compared to XRP. You were right, my ADA Cardano fan base friends. You were winners. You are awesome. I love you. You're good people. You grow and love other good people. That's who you are. And I'm here to tell you, back the winning horse, not the nicest horse. That right there is a final capitulation with a snapback rally. And since then, you are in. Upside moves, upside move, plus a nice little squeezy Japanesey that happens to be already in a breakout. So everything I've been telling you, ever since I started telling people about XRP, that only followed making sure all my community knew about it well in advance, filling their bags, lots of sell-offs to buy into. Their average price is lower than yours. The average price to get in is lower than yours. Some of them may still be entering, but you don't get to buy below 50 cents. Not easily, unless we have a big crash. But you can benefit if there is further downside. But we have been watching this for a while. And there's two others. Well, there's particularly one that I really like that's going to go twice what XRP is going to do. And it's liquid. But, you know, that's for the community. That's for the people that joined us on self-studies, on trading metamorphosis. But you'll do just fine on XRP. And I have it. It's a big position. This is a strong move. In short, XRP to overperform other cryptos. Plus, from my Bitcoin opening statement, this is a bull market. Plus, from my XRP dominance analysis that I gave to you, a minimum of 8.5+%, which could go 10, 11, 12 increase in dominance from a point where it's 2.5 today in a market that is growing because it's a bull market. Because Bitcoin is not doing much more than a pullback, in my personal opinion, and kissing the 25K. Could there be more FUD? Yes. Could it go a little lower? Possibly. But largely, it's shrugging it off. The market has turned. And as this won't happen overnight, but it does happen violently with XRP, if you're not in it, you don't make it. The dominant spikes are violent. The price spikes are violent. The moves already occurring against other cryptos, the negative premium, the discounted traded at for SEC attention is now being lifted by all the others that are put. And in some senses, it's too big a fight for the SEC to win. It's been broadened out. It's like Hitler that was fighting just Britain on its own, has now declared war on Russia and everywhere else, and America's in the war. There's only one outcome, but they get to control the timing. They have obfuscated. They have held back. They have delayed. And one token has been particularly punished for some unexplained reason that has never been clarified. And I've not become a fanboy. I'm pointing it out. He may well be the ginger-haired boy that is transgender and with skewed teeth. I don't know. But the point is, he was treated specifically and singled out, and now it's no longer the case. So he has the diversification of others joining him on the naughty step. This is fundamentally very strong. It affected his previous bull market, in my opinion, and overall you will get additional benefit. Plus, once central banks start announcing that they are utilizing rails that are associated with the company that is Ripple and the token that is XRP, you will absolutely get a quadruple potential bull. So that $16, $17 is not necessarily the top. It's a great place to take something. Okay, I think I'm done. A lot of shouting, a lot of ranting. Man is passionate. So if you valued this, click the like button. Help me to help you. Hit the subscribe always button. Join us for our next live trading day where we will do top-up analysis. I do occasional crypto updates. And share the video all over the place and start thinking about what we've said. The technicals are now marrying up to the narrative. I can see the story already as the chart pattern is setting up. There is still time. There's a third impulse that must happen on the price. It's not necessarily happening today on the price. The dominance is going to happen today. It's going to show relative strength today. It could get up to 70 cents. The others could be flat or a little bit up. But then there'll be a pause and a rest, and then the moonshoot. You could be waiting a year before a triggering event. You could be waiting 9 months before a triggering event, and you could wait that the golden moment. But let me just warn this on XRP. When it moves and when the news that I expect to come out, the railway lines on many nation states utilizing XRP, the potential speed at which it could move could be very, very strong. If we have a look at the manner in which it moved when it's in its bull market into 2017, you actually needed to be holding it for just 3 candles on that big time frame. So I go back and I show you this. On the monthly, you had to be in for 2 or 3 months. It was less than 2 or 3 months. Here they go. Count them with me. I'm on a monthly chart. 1, 2, and 3 for that first target. Now this target is like my 16, 17 of my next target. It's not again, it's not the top. And you could have got in again and you would have had 1 month. And by the way, that could have actually been 1 week, 1 day, or part of the month. The rest of the month could have been up top here. So it's maximum. This move occurred not on the first day of the month and it didn't end on the last day. It's less than 3 months. You went from a fraction of a cent, 0.05, 0.006, 007 to a full 16 cents and jumped in again around the 20s for another run up to the 78, 80 cents range. That is phenomenal, guys. That is absolutely phenomenal. You got 20x there, and then you got in at 20, and you got up around 80. You got another 4x again. It's unbelievable. And some of your stake, you would have overperformance managed, and God knows where you got out. And I'm not doing it here. So this is your message. The move, when it comes, will come fast. But first, I think a little bit of up and over. A little bit of interaction with those levels and a bit of calming and a bit of dull period, and then it all breaks out. 2025 is a key year. I think things need to be in place before then. You will see. Thank you so much for watching. Ranty Francis is now done. We'll catch you later. Don't forget the likes and subscribes. Book a call, link below, first in the description. Use our broker, Simple FX, by the way, not FTX, thankfully. Simple FX. We also have traditional brokers. Buy some gold with some of your profits, and we'll see you on the other side. Bye for now.